Who's hosting?
Not me.
All right, welcome in everybody to a Monday edition of the Power Hour. Yes, it's good to be back, Michael Page. Brief hiatus from Friday when several of us were out at the Berlin Lake Golf Club for the Back Nine Bar and Grill, shooting commercial and getting a chance to enjoy some golf with Amo. Bunch of us kind of on location, and obviously with tournament baseball and softball kind of in full swing of things, everybody's running everywhere. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing good. Just waiting for our tournament game tonight.
That's right. You do have a game tonight. What time's the bus?
Bus is at 5:15.
All right. Plenty of time to be on the Power Hour.
That's right.
So our national day today is National Siblings Day. So my question to you guys is, do you have siblings? If so, how many? Quinn, let's start with you.
Yeah, I got one. I got a sister. You guys all met her. She is interesting. We'll say that.
She hates you.
She does. She does. But it's okay because I hate her. So we're even.
Weren't you saying something before the show about you just coached her last AAU basketball game?
Yeah, so she's I've coached AAU basketball with her. She's played for me for 8 years now. And yesterday was her final game. So got to experience that, and
that was
a little bit, but you know how I am. And it was one of those high five, smack upside the head, and said, "Good job, congrats, and see you later."
It's got to be interesting coaching your sibling. I've never had that experience. Mac, siblings?
Two. I got a brother who's an electrician now, and I got a brother who is a federal corrections officer.
Nice. Is that rocking the orange today so that you can go visit? Very cool. Very cool. So Paige down there saying that he grew up with 9 brothers and sisters. Wow. 10 kids in a family. That's a bunch anymore. Most I've got on my family is I've got a cousin that's got 5 kids. I thought that was a lot. So how about you, Mons? Siblings?
I have a brother and I have a half sister. So
nice.
The half sister we don't see. She lives in a different state. So, but yeah, just me and my brother that are here. We're a small group. My side of the family is small. My wife's not so much. Her parents are each one of 8.
And, oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it's like when I first started going around there, like it was like, oh, that's so-and-so and so-and-so and that one's there. And like, no, this is only like a third of the people. I mean, I was like, I couldn't keep. To this day, we've been married 13 years. There's still some of the cousins. I'm like, who's that right now? And then I'm like, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, the grandmother's got like 42 grandchildren combined with regular grandchildren, great grandchildren, 20 some regular grandchildren. It's like, whatever. God bless her.
That's wild. That's real wild. Is your brother older or younger?
I am the oldest. My brother's
you're the oldest.
6 years younger than me. I beat the shit out of him every day I could.
I mean, that's one of the joys of having younger siblings, isn't it? You know, you've got like somebody to test out the latest wrestling moves on or whatever it might be.
I shot him with BB guns. I threw darts at him. I mean, he was a piñata when I was a kid. So
that's funny. So I'm one of 4 kids, and I have 3 sisters, 2 younger and 1 older.
You were the only boy.
Kind of on the note you were talking about, tormenting your brother. I was telling a story over the weekend. We were looking at those giant bumblebees flying around. And when we were kids, I convinced one of my sisters that they were furry and you could pet them. So I still catch a lot of flack from that. And then I was telling Quinn before the show, I've got 6 nieces now and 1 nephew out of my 3 sisters.
DJ having a little bit of Jeff Bezos moment here.
Yeah. There it is.
Wow.
That's a big update.
I was getting an update from Brian too. So yeah, he just sent me the 8-8 and just for the 4 of us, the knowledge, a quarter. So you know how much a quarter is worth? That's how many happened already today.
25. Wow, nice. So DJ's on location out there at the Salem and Niles game in Louisville today and checking that out. So before we get to any other topics, Quinn, why don't you give us a rundown so that we get caught up on what we've got today and where everybody is?
Yeah, so playoff baseball-wise, obviously DJ's out there doing the Salem Niles game. Richie's going to have the Canfield Marlington game at Scene today at 4. Scene 2 has Mooney and Garfield playing at 4. That's going to be Andy. 4:30, Champion plays Rootstown at Niles. That's going to be B. Miller. Then B. Miller will also have the South Range game tonight against Crestview. That game's also at Niles. You'll see Paul out there. And then Andy's going to have Springfield Berkshire on Scene 2 whenever the Mooney game gets done. So that's all the playoff games. And then Alec is going to be out at Scene 3 for 2 14U games tonight starting at 5:30.
Very nice. So bunch of playoff baseball. And remind me, what can you watch all those games for?
$9.99.
There it is. $9.99. You get all those games. So a big night of baseball and playoff baseball, and we're excited to see the area teams continue to advance. I'm intrigued by the latest comment down there. 5th row floor seats for Rolling Stones at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, PA. Are we trying to sell tickets or are we offering them? If you're offering them, I'll gladly take them.
Or are we bragging,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
like the Rolling Stones are like 150 years old. Like nobody's going to that. Come on.
I didn't even know they were still touring.
Yeah, it's like an opportunity to go watch your grandpa rock out.
It's like Kiss. They're on the 40-year tour.
Paul, you were a kid when the Rolling Stones came out, right?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I was at the Start Me Up tour.
Nice. So let's move on and get to some sports topics. Some sports topics for today, since that is why we're here. I want to know, what are you guys' takes on Phil being able to win a major at 50 years old? He becomes the oldest player in PGA history to win a major event.
I thought it was great. I was watching a little bit of the highlights last night after Quinn and I got done doing the schedule, and they said he's in the best shape right now than he's been in years. He's trimmed down and he was striking the ball. I mean, shoot, the one drive I saw, he drove it 366 yards. I was like, my goodness. I mean, for a 50-year-old guy to get out there and smoke it like that, and I was like, hey, God bless him. So, hey, I think it's great. Just shows it's not always a young man's sport.
Paige brings up a good point there, too. Seeing the crowd and everything was really cool, too, because, post-COVID and starting to come out and the restrictions are being lifted a little bit to be able to have that normalcy. Yeah. No, for sure. And I actually saw a clip today so they lost containment on the crowd, and they allowed them to basically overrun the green. And the people that had been there since like 6 o'clock in the morning were all upset because their views got obstructed by people that they let run in and stand like right in front of them. So my opinion is tough luck. Mac, we know you're an avid golf fan, so let's get your take on this.
I mean, I think it shows that Phil's the GOAT. I mean, he smoked Tiger in that stupid skin game we did last year, beat his ass, and then has already won a major here. I mean, he's the GOAT. Phil's the GOAT. The lefty,
do you think
stud.
So are you putting your money down on him to win his first ever U.S. Open here in, just a couple weeks?
I mean, I would take him over Tiger.
Well, everybody's going to take him over Tiger right now, but the odds
take you over Tiger right now.
No, Tiger.
Lance and I were talking about it this morning. The odds came out for the U.S. Open, and what'd you say, Muntz? Phil was 200-1 to win this weekend.
This past weekend he was 201 to win, and then he's opening up for the next one at 50-1,
at
right?
50-1, yeah. So, Quinn, you taking that bet? You putting any money down on lefty?
No, absolutely not. It took him 16 years. It's going to take him another 16 years. His next one's going to come on the senior tour.
I wonder if these guys ever bet on themselves, though. You ever think about that? Like, if he would have looked at the odds and said 201, all right, I'm going to put $10,000 on this.
I'm pretty sure they do.
I mean, as long as you're not like betting against yourself, right? I mean,
hold on, this guy Pete Rose in a whole lot of trouble.
Hey, Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame in my book. I don't care if he bet on
Rose was
baseball.
betting on 8 other people
Yeah.
with them.
Well,
He was betting on himself to win.
Yes.
Is it
with
is
8
it
other
still
people. This one's all on you. Golf is all on you. As you know, golf is all on you.
yeah.
is it still an ethical gray area?
Who cares?
I mean, you're betting on yourself to win, and be like, hey, listen, they want. I've got confidence in myself that I can go out there and win. So they want
Unless
to
you
put
bet
me with these
against you,
low
yeah.
odds. I'm going to go out there and show them I can. And if I had the money that those guys do, and you see shit like that, be like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And you throw what's 10 grand to those guys? Realistically, nothing. So throw 10 grand on 201 to win.
Yeah.
So
Is this a Twitch one, Billy?
Yes.
For these Twitch comments, love Twitch
See
comments.
the purple icon?
Yeah, well, I'm old. I was trying to figure out what that was.
No, I'm just explaining that to you. The purple icon is the Twitch.
So if you're betting on yourself to win, that should be 100% legal. And I have to agree with that. I mean,
yeah,
why not?
100%.
Why not have the ability to bet on yourself? I mean, we see it in other sports where guys do it basically with their contract situations. They bet on themselves to have a big year and, maybe don't sign a short-term extension hoping to get that big payday. So I don't see what the big difference is.
Hey, average Joes bet on themselves, and look how that turned out.
That's tough.
That's true. Hey, and I'd just like to mention, too, that even though Phil May had drove one 366 yards, I watched my boy Quinn over here hit a 360 yards on Friday.
Piped it, Billy. Piped it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him drive.
Straight.
It was a 3-wood.
I've
It
seen
was a
him.
3-wood. It was a hybrid. It
I've
wasn't
seen
even my
him.
driver.
And I loaned him a club.
It wasn't my driver.
No, he's
I
played more
didn't
golf
see up in
this
the
year
fairway, Billy. Calm down.
than with Quinn than I have. Never seen it. Don't believe
Beat
it.
your ass every time we play.
So
There might have been
moving
a
on.
favorable drop involved in that somehow.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't drop.
So moving on, I want to get you guys' take on what happened this morning with Shannon Sharp and calling Julio Jones. Did you guys all see this? So
Yes.
basically,
It was a Billy Mack move. That's what that was.
yeah. So Quinn, you saw it. So give us the rundown of kind of what happened exactly, and then let's hear from everybody on what they think about it.
Yeah, so basically during the show, because he's on his show, what is that? That's not first thing
Undisputed.
Yeah, undisputed.
first. They were talking, I don't even know what brought it up, honestly, but Shannon called up Julio live on the show and was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, are you leaving or whatever? And Julio said he wants out of Atlanta.
And so
No, he didn't basically. He said he's out.
Oh yeah, he definitely said it. And so what I'm gathering is that some of the controversy that's surrounding this is apparently Julio did not know that that Shannon Sharp was going to call him and didn't know that he was live on air when the call happened. So is it fair? Is it out of bounds? What is it?
Let's back up because there's no chance in hell Julio, first off, didn't know about it. I believe they set this up a day or two ago, and Murder's right about the pick of Julio in a Cowboys jersey started this whole, or the hoodie started the whole thing. There's no way Shannon Sharp calls Julio without Julio knowing ahead of time. Okay. So this is all back. This is where you backpedal backwards and go, oh, yeah, I had no idea. This was a setup. No. This works out for both parties because now they're talking about Undisputed, just like we are. Shannon Sharp. First off, Shannon Sharp is probably outside of maybe me, the best person on TV and internet. This guy comes out in a goat mask when he's talking about LeBron James. He's smoking cigars and doing all kinds of crazy antics. I mean, the guy is
I don't know if that's a
amazing.
mask though. He's always had those big horsey teeth. That's not a mask. I can't stand that guy. He's such a punk.
I love Shannon Sharp because he puts himself out there and he's a real OG. And doing this really just makes it solidify the fact that there's no chance that Julio Jones had no idea this was before. This was set up a day, an hour, 2 hours before the show, whatever the case was. Everybody knew that this was going to happen.
I tend to agree with you. I think that, it felt right when it happened and it started like getting blasted out. It kind of felt like a reliable sources moment. But then the more that you thought about it, the more that it was like, okay, you know what? This makes sense for everybody involved that this happened, because now it drives down the trade market on Julio Jones, and basically means that, the Falcons aren't going to be able to ask for a one like they were around draft time. And reports are now that it may take as little as a number 2 pick to get him. Who are the teams that you guys think it makes a lot of sense for Julio to end up with?
Everybody should be picking up the phone trying to get Julio Jones. I mean, you got to think New England's going to be on the list. Cincinnati's going to be on the list. I don't know how the Cowboys fit in. They got like 100 different wide receivers out there. You got to think,
It's Dallas, that's why.
Arizona with Hopkins, that would be crazy with the young quarterback. San Francisco always, teaming them up with Kittle out there on the West Coast would be huge. Teaming back up with Shanahan.
Vegas would be good.
Vegas would absolutely be big that I did see Vegas was intrigued. But anytime you talk about wide receivers, the Raiders are always in the market for them. Especially big, tall, fast guys. So, everybody's got to pick up the phone. Even Cleveland's got to pick up the phone. There's not too many 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" guys out there that are balling out like Julio. Yeah.
All but are going to have a chance at it. The only ones that aren't are going to be in the division. There's no way Tampa or New Orleans has any shot of getting them.
Right.
New
Orleans is already over the cap too, so they don't have a chance at him.
Well, even if they did.
There were a couple of interesting scenarios that kind of came out. And, the first one that I want us to talk about was, what do you guys think about New England as a potential landing spot for him? Does it make sense? Is it the right move at the right time for New England?
No, they're still a couple of years away from getting back on track how they were. They're just not there yet. They're still uncertain about who their quarterback's going to be. They're just
Jacksonville.
For him to go there would just be, he'd be throwing a couple of years away for nothing. To be the leading receiver and throw up some stats.
I can see it now. Tebow to Julio for a touchdown.
I would love to see him in New England though, because you're going to get 6 starters back because you had on defense because of COVID. They didn't play last year, so those guys are back in the mix. That defense was great last year. Now you're going to get 6 former starters from 2019 back in the mix there. So, and you're going to get healthy on the offensive side. You're going to have a quarterback battle. Finally, Cam Newton has a guy to throw to. Let's not forget that this guy didn't have it. But this guy didn't have anybody to throw to.
I think the problem is, though, Mac, I think that a lot of people are saying that Cam doesn't have the ability to force the ball down the field like he used to due to the injury history. Does that play into it at all? Are you concerned if you're Julio Jones about it ending up in New England and then having a quarterback that maybe, just doesn't have it in the arm to be able to get you the ball downfield?
Their style of offense isn't just push the ball down the field anyway. You're seeing a lot of West Coast stuff and read option stuff from them anyway. So it's quick hitters. It's 3-step, get rid of the ball. I don't see an issue with trying to. You don't have to throw the ball 40 yards down the field. Physically, I think Cam Newton's fine. I think he can throw the ball down the field. They don't just drum up a bunch of plays and say, hey, run a 9 route and go catch the ball. You remember what putting a guy with Cam Newton, you remember what he was able to do with guys like Steve Smith? Balled out MVP. Mm-hmm. So we're still talking about him. The guy looks like the best shaped quarterback of all time. The guy is jacked. He looks fit. He looks ready to rock and roll. So if his shoulders hurt, that might be something different, but I think he'll be fine.
So the other interesting one, and I want to start with Quinn on this one, is I kept hearing rumors of, hey, Green Bay needs to pick up the phone and do everything they can to get this guy. What do you think of that, Quinn?
Rodgers ain't coming back. It's just not going to happen. So I think that's a terrible situation. I really do.
Months agree or disagree?
I agree. If Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back, why would Julio want to go there?
I think that bridge is sailed. I don't think Rodgers has any interest of going there. I think Green Bay burnt that bridge too much.
Do any of you guys think?
As far as I understand, Julio does not have a no compete, or not a no compete, a no trade clause, right? He could be traded to anybody, right? So
yes.
They have Devontae Devontae is a dog. Like, he's a top 5 receiver in the NFL right now. I mean, they're basically similar players. So, I mean, why not? I don't see, if you're Aaron Rodgers, yeah, come on board. Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. They're not going to trade him just out of spite. He's not going anywhere. So his choices is very simple: retire or play.
And if he retires, he's got to pay back, what is it, like $160 million?
Right. And I'll tell you this, no chance Green Bay picks up the phone to even talk about Julio Jones.
The spot that interests me was Indy.
Indy's intriguing, and Indy's intriguing for a couple of reasons. You're starting to hear some reports coming out there now that their wide receivers say Carson Wentz is the best guy they've ever played with. And if that's true and Carson Wentz is right, that could be a really interesting situation to put Julio Jones in there with T.Y. Hilton. And, you would have some serious weapons in the wide receiver room.
You want to talk about the comeback of T.Y. Hilton. You put Julio Jones there, T.Y. Hilton's going to come back to being the guy he was when Andrew Luck was there.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
Because he won't be forced into being the number one guy all the time anymore.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz will play, in and saying,
he will play like a top 5 quarterback next year. No doubt.
I think he bounces back really well in Indy. I think that Frank Reich will do a really good job of putting him in the right positions, to have success and be a successful starting quarterback again. And sometimes, that change of scenery is it's the best thing for the player.
I don't see Michael Page coming up with the Chargers. The Chargers got a lot of wide receivers very similar to the Cowboys situation. So I don't know if the Chargers will go heavy without trading a Mike Williams or a piece back in their wide receiving room. I don't imagine them hey, we're going to give you a second round and then flood that wide receiver unit. But you never know. I mean, you don't get Julio Joneses on the market too often. So, like I said, every team should at least call and see, hey, what can we get him for?
That's a scary thought, Will. That's a really scary thought. If Julio were to restructure and end up in Kansas City,
now we're talking about NBA.
He'd have to pay $100. I don't think they have enough room to even afford somebody like that.
I do think there's cap issues with that scenario, and the other one is. Paige mentioned Baltimore, and I don't see that happening. I think Julio's smart enough to know that there's just not going to be enough passing out of that offense for him to flourish.
I could see him in Arizona. That's the sneaky one that I think, with him and Hopkins. That's a problem. It
makes a ton of sense. And didn't Hopkins already come out and say that he'd restructure his deal to be able to play with him?
He did, and somehow they're able to recruit players over there. So who the hell knows? Yeah. I mean. I don't know if they'll stop it, but
going to Jacksonville.
He is not going to Jacksonville. Quinn's getting his Jacksonville jersey ready to go.
Game-winning touchdown, Julio Jones from Tim Tebow.
There we go. Baseball update, playoff baseball update, live from Louisville. DJ chiming in and saying 10-8 Salem going into the bottom of the 7th. Brock Young and Nick Coletta with RBIs. So Salem takes the lead over Niles and is pushing really hard to make it to that next round and eventually get that opportunity for a matchup that we all assume will happen with Canfield.
Michael, that's a scary thought. Him out there with you're talking about the basically reforming the Megatron era in Detroit, having Stafford and Julio Jones there. That would be disgusting.
Yeah, that one would scare me a little bit. It would be really interesting to see, how that would kind of play into itself.
4 or 5 inch difference, though.
Yeah, but still, I think that where you lack some of that size, you make up for it in the fact that you've got one of the best offensive minds in football.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Keep selling us. The league keeps telling us how great he is offensively.
I think he is. I honestly think he is. And
I don't want to listen to Jeff talk about Stafford anymore. That's the only different thing. I just don't want to hear it.
We're all desperate to have Jeff stop talking about Stafford at this point, I think. But it is really interesting to think about all the different places that Julio could end up. But listen, as a Browns fan, I mean, talk about having a ton of offensive weapons. Imagine having Odell Beckham on one side and Julio Jones on the other side with Jarvis Landry in the slot. That's definitely a scary thought. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but it's fun to daydream about it.
What would we have to give up for that?
Probably a third and Odell.
Probably have to give up Odell, right? Or him or Landry.
I don't know. It depends on what the market looks like. I mean, the Falcons don't have any leverage in this situation at this point because he's come out and said, look, I'm not playing for them.
We're going to have so much money tied up into wideouts if that happens.
But for 1 year, would you do it?
Into a running football team. We're going to run the ball 60% of the time, and look at all these guys getting paid out here. You want to talk about having issues in the locker room? Oh, God. No.
Anybody knows if Julio's a good blocking wide receiver? Because I hope he is.
I think he is. I actually think he is.
I think he is too, yeah. So why don't we – it's about 3:29. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some of the matchups that are coming up in baseball and softball. And I want to have Mac talk a little bit about our YSN Coaches of the Year in baseball and softball.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
"60 years ago, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods began with 3 siblings, a hand-set sawmill, and a few local orders. And while business has certainly changed over the years, what has not are our principles of hard work, craftsmanship, and commitment to quality. At Baird Brothers, we're proud to put our name on the products we create, from moldings and doors to flooring and lumber. Thank you for 60 great years. We look forward to 60 more. Baird Brothers, for the place you love."
Welcome back into a Monday edition of the Power Hour. I'm Matt Seidel. I'm in with a few of my friends here, Quinn and Max Solo. And Muntz, we're glad you're back in joining us. I assumed you got a phone call there. Do you hear me?
Taking care of a couple little fires, getting some things out to people.
Gotcha. All those game day goodies. So before the break, we were talking a little bit about Julio Jones. I want to switch gears a little bit. And I want to talk about, are you guys watching the NBA playoffs at all? Quinn, I know you're our big NBA fan and big basketball guy, but are you watching them? Are you into
Absolutely.
the games?
Absolutely.
So,
I love the NBA. I am watching the games, though. I will admit that. I am.
You are watching the games, though.
I am.
Okay. And, I mean,
I'm not putting Paul back in. He's just going to keep going out. I'm not putting Paul back in.
We saw some interesting matchups, and I think
I'm not frozen anymore.
To see. There he is. Welcome back.
It's going downhill so fast.
It really is.
It's like a toilet bowl. Just
it's true Monday fashion here on the Power Hour. But Matt, I mean, are you watching any NBA games? Are you interested in the playoffs? Could you care less?
Yeah, yes and no. I've been peeking at him a little bit. I was intrigued with some issues with the last night's game with the Laker and Sun game. I'm real excited to see the Suns win. I think Chris Paul is the most underappreciated NBA player of all time. I just do. You got to think to last year and the year before. The Thunder were trying to throw the season to get a draft pick, and they were as high as the 3rd seed at one point and made the playoffs last year. And now he's over here to the Suns, who won 17, 15 games last year, and now they're a 2 seed, and they're about to take care of LeBron and the Lakers. Quinn's so upset right now. Quinn is so upset right now because finally a guy boxed out LeBron and he fell on the ground for about a minute and a half.
And he flopped 2 minutes later and hurt his shoulder. So what's the excuse? I will agree with you. I really do. I think Chris Paul should be MVP this year. I agree with you. You're a little off with your records, but I'll give you that. I agree. Chris Paul should be the MVP. They won 15 games 2 years ago, 34 last year, but that's okay. And they will not beat the Lakers, but that's okay.
So
they will absolutely beat the Lakers.
They will not beat the Lakers.
Put some Skittles on it.
No answer for Devin Booker. Zero answer.
Beat the Lakers.
Who's going to guard him?
They will not
guarding
beat
Booker? Who's guarding Booker?
The same person. Who's going to guard LeBron when he wants to play?
Oh, he's too busy on the ground rolling around.
He does it every playoffs. He did it last year.
And
there,
there.
Oh, the Blazers are going to sweep them. Oh, the Rockets are going to beat them. Oh, the Clippers. All this shit.
Okay. And they won the title. And right there is the biggest problem that the NBA has when he wants to play.
He does.
That's
every
the biggest
game
problem that the NBA has.
Every game won.
It's just it makes it painful to watch. I mean, like
LeBum.
Show a little bit of
Listen, it wasn't even it wasn't LeBron's fault that they lost. Anthony Davis played horribly.
I just don't. First off, I just don't like the Lakers' makeup this year. I don't. I just don't. Whether LeBron's great, I'm not saying that. I'm poking fun a little bit, but I don't like their makeup. It's almost like, yeah, we won last year. Oh, we made the playoffs. Cool. Like LeBron was hurt, AD was hurt. I just don't like where they're at this year. And the Suns are trying to do something special, and they've never won. So this is something that, I mean, they're hungry. And Chris Paul needs a ring to solidify his legacy in the NBA.
You won't get one. They're not that good.
Listen, he matches up against Harden. You don't think he's got some extra incentive to beat the Nets?
He's got to go through half the West first.
They're the 2 seed. They're the 7 seed.
Getting off of the Lakers, but staying on the NBA train, is anybody surprised that Golden State lost and is out already?
No. It was one guy.
I mean,
it was one guy willing the team through all of this.
I will say,
but there was serious conversation about him needing to be an MVP.
No. He is not. He was not going to be able to do that. They would have probably got swept if they made the playoffs. To be honest with you, they just they can't do everything. Now you had Klay Thompson back in next year, and they're going to be probably right in that 5-6 range. I would say.
I mean, Klay Thompson. When was the last time he played? 3 years ago.
2 years.
Like, I mean, what I really think is I think Steph's out. I think he's gone. I think he's leaving after this year. His contract's up now, so he's going to be a free agent in the summer. I wouldn't put it past you. You put Steph Curry with the Lakers with LeBron. That's disgusting. That's like the ultimate LeBron chemistry teammate there. Hey, let me do my thing. You stay out here because you could shoot from anywhere. Boom. And then when LeBron needs a blow, boom, Curry could take over for a couple minutes. And then, that's a problem.
I legitimately hate you for even bringing up that idea right now. It made me vomit in my mouth.
Yeah, but thinking about it. Last year, if I told you that Harden, Durant, and Irving were going to play together, you would have laughed at me too.
So I'll say this about the NBA, though, right? The NBA ratings overall will go down, but teams will watch that East Coast, West Coast, Lakers, Nets, and those two will meet in the finals. It will be all-time high ratings just to watch that game.
No, nobody will ever watch NBA basketball again if that happens.
Yes, they will. They said it about when LeBron went to Miami, and that was all-time ratings then. It will be the same exact in this case. Now you're going to have what's the difference between the Lakers and Celtics in the 80s? That was it. It was only two teams.
Let's just do away with all the rest of the teams entirely. Let's put every good player on 2 teams, and we'll do away with the rest entirely. Because at that point, nobody else might as well even show up for their games because nobody's going to be in the seats.
Speaking of people that don't want to watch basketball, anybody watch the Knicks? They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, Trae Young
is in the playoffs finally.
Trae Young's a dog. 32 points last night?
Yeah. Game winner.
Had the runner, it wasn't a buzzer beater, but 0.9 left remaining. I mean, he's the second. He's
Reggie Miller 2.0, man.
Yeah, I would say he's more Reggie Miller than Steph Curry. Yeah.
So at 11 minutes now.
Thriving.
At 11 minutes now, this is officially the longest the Power Hour has ever talked about NBA basketball.
Oh, yeah, the NBA playoffs are going on. I mean, it's a hot topic. A lot of people watch the NBA playoffs. I mean, I'm not even a casual fan, but I'll turn on and watch the NBA playoffs. I mean, I know who the players are, and I know who the stars are, and I know the reasons.
The NBA playoffs were on last night, and I opted to watch Shark Tank.
That's a good show, though.
I forgot Shark Tank was on.
Way more entertainment value there.
Wow. But
you wouldn't go that far.
The NBA season is boring. It's just the playoffs are. I can watch playoffs.
But you could probably say that for almost any sport. A lot of people think
baseball same. People would say the same about baseball.
Yeah, but baseball
I would not. But
watch the playoffs.
Yeah,
hockey is boring, but hockey playoffs are exciting.
Oh, I watched the NFL preseason over baseball playoffs.
Well, the NFL is a different animal. as Browns fans for years, that's when we watched our potential players.
Really, I watched my sister's soccer game. I went to my sister's soccer game instead of watching the MLB playoffs.
Well,
so Amo chiming in, saying that his guy Luka is going to beat the Clips tonight. Miss Triple Dub will be there to watch Luka.
Does the Clippers still have Paul George?
Yep.
Is playoff Pete coming back out, or
Nope.
is he?
They're already down 1-0. Dallas got him Saturday?
Yeah, did get him Saturday.
Dallas got him
Paul
Saturday.
George.
I think Luka shot like 5 of 13 from 3 or something like that. Like, terrible.
So we got to move on.
Clippers are up or no?
No, Clippers are down 1-0.
Okay, gotcha.
But we do have to move on because we've got something really important that we have to get to before we get to our Burbick Farms What's Your Beef? And that's, Mac, why don't you tell us a little bit about our coaches of the year in baseball and softball this year? And then, guys, I just want to hear your takes now that the teams are fully out. How excited are you to see these all-star games take place? Mac, you want to talk about the coaches?
Okay. So Coach Kernan from Ursuline, they call it softball U over there for a reason. And 20-2 on the regular season, district champs finals. They will play Wednesday at 2:00 at YSU, and they just done a great job over there. And it's hard to manage talent at times. Some coaches, they get a bad beat because they have a lot of talent there, but it's also hard to manage talent too. It takes a different set of skill set to do so, and he did a great job this year. I mean, they were ranked number 1 in the state. They played a pretty tough schedule, so they're not out here just beating anybody. They're beating everybody, and he did a great job of promoting his players throughout the year. The players did a great job. I mean, they have, if not one of the best 1-2 pitching punches in the Valley, and just can't say enough about him. Just, promoting his players and prepping his players each and every day, taking it one game at a time. And Canfield's Gary Niddle. Gary, I know, been with the Astros organization, and it's just a great guy. I mean, part of the YSN family as well, for calling games with Richie at Canfield for football, and just a great guy. Just wants to get his players better every day, practice, and then roll it over to games. And always, he's a player's coach. You can come to Gary and talk to him about anything that's going on, whether it's in life or whether it's just, struggles in the baseball diamond. And he's always got time for his players and for his coaches as well. One of the best things I love about Gary the most, and this is just a coach experience, is how much he wants his coaches to coach. He doesn't step on your toes, and he really wants his assistant coaches. He trusts them to go out here and coach his players up. So kudos and congratulations to both coaches, Coach Kernan and Coach Gary Niddle.
No, for sure. And I think, we saw some really great coaching this year. And I think that the nail was hit on the head with, picking these two as the coaches of the year for this season. When you look at the body of work by both programs, just fantastic coaches and fantastic jobs of managing their teams and their programs this year. But that kind of brings us to the next point, and that's, Muntz, I want to go to you first, because how excited are you to potentially see a bunch of these players match up against each other when we have our All-Star games coming up here in June?
I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, I hope the kids, can make the games. I mean, have we set a date officially for this? Not yet.
I don't think we've put it out officially yet. I think that we're finalizing,
because there's going to be so much to think about. I mean, with a lot of these guys, are they still going to be in tournament play? Are some of the kids leaving early to go to college? So I mean, that's where we could miss some of these kids. But if the bulk of these players can get there and be a part of this, I think it's going to be awesome. Because I mean, I was there for the first All-Star basketball game that we had. And it was great to see a lot of these guys. I mean, it was your typical kind of all-star game a little bit. Kids were letting guys shoot and seeing guys dunk and doing stuff. And the girls were out there, letting girls get some, three-pointers, because that's what they're known for. And nobody was really playing like super tough defense. But your competitive juices are still going a little bit. So it'll be interesting. to see how we can, manage that depending on how many kids get there and how many show up. But I think it'll be great because you don't really we haven't seen an all-star game in a while because of, last year not having anything. And it's tough to see some of those all-star games when you get there, because then if some kids can't go, a lot of times coaches send like other kids there, and it's just not like what you want it to be. And I think our all-star teams that we picked are just, top notch with some of the best kids, boys and girls in the area. So if they can all show up, I think it's going to be a hell of a show. So
I agree with you. Quinn, what do you think?
Distracted by
you excited for it?
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you get to, like Paul said, anytime you get to put some of the best talent in one area, one field, court, whatever, it's always going to be fun. And the representation for all of our schools and everything like that is incredible. And I'm excited to see it. And I know Bailey's out there watching. I'm going to kick your ass in this game too. So let's go.
Damn!
Shots fired! Oh man!
I want to say that I want to give YSN kudos for this, because
you guys ain't coaching that game either.
Watch us.
In a lot of all-star games that would happen around the Valley, this isn't just like, hey, seniors come play. This is we picked a player from each school. And some places multiple, and it was a tough way to do it, and it was a tough way to for us to get together and multiple people. There was a whole board of people, from what I understand, who were picking these players, and it's hard to do these things, and it's hopefully I'm just excited that it's not just a senior thing, because we've been involved in those, and in some cases. Maybe the senior class is down that year, and all the juniors or sophomores are really good. So it's a good thing that we're starting to represent not just seniors, but also talent too.
Well, and I think that's a really good point. And I also think that it's a good point that, this is the result of having more coverage and having, a platform like YSN to showcase these athletes, because when the selection committees met and we talked through things, there were guys that were going, I've seen these guys play. Seriously, trust me, it's this kid. This is the one that we've got to pick. And, to have the opportunity to, not just be like the AP writers who sit there and say, okay, maybe I've heard of this kid one time in my life, at one point during the season, and to have people that have actually had eyes on these athletes makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So with that being said, we're really looking forward to the games, and we want to remind everybody that there's still sponsorship opportunities available for both of those games. And so if that's something that you're interested in, don't hesitate to reach out to us at ysnlive.com. There's a section right on there where you can go and click on the advertising, and it'll send an email over to the most handsome guy on this broadcast today. And he'll get back in contact with you as soon as possible.
I don't think that's a compliment.
Do not send me an email.
The bar was
look at the bar was last time. Come on.
The bar was really low today. So it's about that time, and I want to get to our G. Burbick Farms. What's your filet? What's your beef? Don't forget that you need to check out G. Burbick Farms if you haven't been there. I think, Mac, you have some G. Burbick beef on the Traeger right now?
As of right now, I got some G. Burbick beef on the smoker and the Traeger. So it is, and I'll be taking it off in about an hour and a half. So
that gives us an opportunity to remind everybody that dinner's at Mac's house tonight for everybody that's watching and tuning in. So guys, let's get to your beef or your filet. Let's start with
baby right there. He's so whiny.
Let's start with
on Mondays.
Months, beef or filet?
I got a couple fillets. No beefs. It's Monday. It's baseball day, so that's one. Well, we got the semifinal game tonight at 7:00 right here on YSN. You can tune in, catch B. Miller, and catch the Raiders taking on Crestview. So that's my one fillet. And my other one is a huge congratulations to two of our players here at South Range, Brandon Mikos and Trey Pancake. They both got nominated to the OHSBCA all Ohio team. It's only for seniors. It's a pretty elite game to get invited to. It's voted on by the coaches, and depends on how many players you get on how many coaches are in that coaches association. And there was only 5 players that were selected for that team, and they finished 1-2 in the voting. And then, there was a kid from Rootstown, the lefty, going to OU, the kid from Gilmore Academy who was going to Penn State, and then there was a kid, Harris, from Canton Central Catholic. So those 5 players were the Northeast District representatives, and to get picked on that, like I said, it's pretty elite, voted on by the coaches. You get nominated, your coach can nominate you, but only 5 are going to go. So it was pretty great for those 2 to get on there. We haven't had one for a while. Billy Goodall was our last one we had. It used to be called the All Mizuno team, the All Ohio Mizuno team, because obviously they sponsored it, but it's got a new name. But yeah, huge congratulations to those guys. They've earned it and have had a hell of a season so far, and we're going to continue it tonight.
Big congratulations to those guys on being selected. And just a reminder that you can tune in and catch those guys in action tonight here on ysnlive.com for just a very small fee of what, guys?
$9.99.
There it is. Quentin, let's go to you. Beef or filet?
2 beefs and a filet. 1 beef.
Boy, you're loaded with meat today.
Yeah, back-to-back days. Billy hasn't given me an invite to nothing. Unbelievable. Second thing is a filet that leads into a beef. Filet it's you kind of just started wrapping up a little bit, and I know Eric's not on this one, but I'm sure he can agree with it. It's kind of like an end of an era for us. Our 2 junior teams that we've had for a long time got to play their final games with our program this past weekend. So congrats to all them. It's been fun. It's been fun coaching them. But that leads into my next beef. The hotel I had, no toilet paper in my room when I got there. How am I supposed to go to the bathroom with no toilet paper? Unbelievable.
There's a phone that you can go.
Billy, I don't need. You know what? I don't need this, Billy.
Show.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how did you?
That's just for the non-invite,
Exactly.
No golf for us.
Did you make it?
Jeez.
Did you make the call to the front desk, or did you go hand?
No, I went to the conjoining room to my dad's, took his toilet paper, and he ended up calling the room. But he
So problem solved.
Exactly.
Mac, moving on. Beef or filet?
I'm gonna go first one. I'm gonna go filet. I got a chance to go Saturday to G Burbick Farms. The sponsor of this thing, and I actually had a steak. Would have been that Saturday night, and it was one of the best steaks I've ever had. Put it in the Traeger's. First time I ever smoked a steak, but it was great. Well worth it, and everybody should at least give it a chance. Go out there and give G Burbick Farms an opportunity to please your palate. So we got the brisket in the smoker now, so that's going to be my filet here shortly. I know it's going to turn out pretty good because I can already tell. But my beef was just a weekend. It was just a rough weekend. A lot of things just didn't go right. My team didn't. My beef is not my team. It's just the events around the tournament itself. So that would be my beef. So
little offset, Billy. Little things offline.
Little offline.
Breaking news: Salem Niles advances to the district final. So that was a back and forth game that sounded like it had some exciting moments in it, and I'm sure if you were tuning in, you enjoyed that. Interviews, picks, and stories to come on ysnlive.com. So make sure you head on over after the show and check those out.
What was the final score there, DJ?
You can find. Well, you should have watched the game. Should have bought the game.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll give a recap in that story as well, and you'll be able to jump onto ysnlive.com and check that out and get the full rundown of how the game went. So I'm going to go with a beef today, and my beef is
I did not want to do that.
My beef is that Quinn thinks I look like him. No, but my beef is with Amos' comment, and Amos says that he's got a filet, and it's that he and DJ did not finish last, and that was in fact Quinn and I on Friday. Hey, Mom, just to let you know right now, that was my first round in a year and a half. So if you want to smoke again,
tiny violin time. Tiny violin time.
Here they come.
So I'll be happy to come back out, and Quinn and I will show you that we are in fact not a last place team.
So you lost. You lost. Just say it. You lost.
There is nobody.
At least we were out there to do it.
You lost.
Right, and there is.
Listen, I just want to hear you say.
There was nobody on the course that had more fun than Quinn and I had.
Absolutely.
I can guarantee that.
All right, that's what losers say.
That's what losers say. Team, so there.
Losers say we have lots of fun.
Yeah, after the show, I'll say what I really want to say.
You know what? We'll solve that problem right now.
There you go. Now, hey,
it's all good.
The best team is now here.
Exactly.
The A team, if you will. So that's going to do it for our show today. Make sure you head over to ysnlive.com and check out the story from the Salem and Niles game. And make sure you tune in tonight and catch some of the great baseball playoff action that's going on. If you haven't had a chance to yet, stop in and visit our sponsors. We really appreciate them and thank them for making things like the Power Hour and all of our live games possible. Yeah. And until tomorrow.
Two games starting in a minute.
2 games starting in a minute. Perfect time. We're going to get off here just a minute early today and say goodbye so that you can hop on there and check those out.
Grab a drink and go watch YSNlive.com.
Wave the flag.